Okay.
Maybe after the meeting, I will know if I object to it.
I'm sorry, Mr. LeCrown, what were you saying?
I said maybe after the meeting is over, then I will know if I object to it.
Oh, okay, good point. Valid point. Valid point. All right, so we're going to call the meeting to order. The agenda was sent out, and we're just wanted to welcome everyone back to the Parks and Recreation Committee, and hope everyone is well during these adverse circumstances that we face. I don't know if Dr. Burke, if you want to add anything to that welcome. We can't hear you, Dr. Burke.
I just realized I was off. Yeah, no, I mean, welcome everybody to our first Parks Committee meeting of the year.
We can't hear you, Dr. Burke. We can't hear you.
Right. Okay, maybe eventually I will get it. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. So welcome everybody to the Parks Committee meeting. As I said, I'm looking forward to the topic of the evening. Okay, I know what's going on. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the discussion. So I want to thank everybody for attending, and Mrs. Bond, this is all yours.
Okay, so on the agenda, we're going to be talking about the RC Park, and Mr. Williams, I think you wanted to present some material to the committee.
I wasn't prepared to present the material to the committee. I did present that at the previous two meetings, but I definitely could speak on behalf of the RC community as it relates to Fort Knox RC Park.
Okay, and I believe that your supporters are here.
Yes, we're here.
Okay.
So pretty much, Fort Knox RC Park exists right there, right under the Bronx, right next to the Bronx River Parkway and Gun Hill Road. Many of us have gotten our RC start at Fort Knox RC Park and continue to go there for tune in and just to to get together and spread love amongst the RC community. A lot of us, as myself, I spent time there with my son and it exposed him to RC for the first time. So as many of us know, we're in the midst of a pandemic and we're looking for ways to join together and maintain social distance and still find connections with our communities. And the fact that Fort Knox RC Park may be repurposed is just really disheartening, and it's really a sad thing to see the state that it's come to. We really can't afford for our park to go away and lose an opportunity or lose just a platform for folks to come together of different age groups, races, and everything else. The RC community is seasonal color, and it's just a great space to fellowship with our fellow community folks, and we really just need to see this park stay, and we really would like to do anything we can to support the efforts of the park department to keep this park in existence. It's been there for a very long time, and we would really hate to see it go. Anything that we as a RC community can do to keep that park around, we're willing to do, and we would just hope that we could partner with the Parks Department and community boards to keep it there.
Okay, well, I think that's a very valid point in terms of the recreation that it brings to our community. And specifically, I would like you to speak more about, because the area that plot of land there has fallen into some disrepair. And I understand that you are willing, your colleagues are willing to actually put some labor into it to finish the area.
No, it has to
mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves.
Yeah, we're definitely willing to put some manpower in to get the track to where it should be. It's just really a shame. I was as recently as last week just to go out and work on my engine and work on my car a little bit, and I could only utilize half of the track, only the straightaway one turn, because it was just run over. And oftentimes when I'm there and it gets a little later in the evening, there are folks that are rolling through there, and because the park has been left to that state of disrepair, they feel so inclined to take that space now, and they, because it looks the way it does, they just they just move into that space. It's not welcoming to younger kids and some older folks just because of the folks that it attracts due to what it looks like right now.
I see. All right. Oh, I see that our chairperson has joined us. Good evening, Ivan. We started to address the agenda. So we're just talking about the RC Park right now. And Mr. Williams has brought us up to speed in terms of what his group is willing to do.
Let me jump in for a second, Mrs. Bond. I
Sure.
actually have some of the pictures that Mr. / Brother Williams has shared me. So if you don't mind, I can share that with the group if you don't mind. I don't want to take over your meeting.
Go right ahead and share, because I don't have any of the pictures. It wasn't sent to me, so I don't have it.
Right. Okay. So hang on for a second. Let me.
Do you have the ability to share?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Burke.
Okay. Hang on for a second. So let me. I'm hoping that this is coming up.
I'm sorry. Dr. Burke. It is my meeting. I'm sorry that I'm late. I couldn't sign on. I was having issues with signing on. I did manage to listen in on my phone. So I would like to, unfortunately, I'd like to introduce right now and just allow us to introduce ourselves. Ms. Bond, thank you so much for holding it down. Sounds like, it sounded like you were doing a tremendous job. So if at this time, can everybody just please introduce themselves?
All right, my name is Rohan Grant. I'm one of the members from the Fort Knox RC Park. Been there for maybe say 17 years. I've been running around that park, and I really put a lot of work in that park. But I think one of the main problems that we have is like we just don't get the proper permits that we could get to do the stuff that we want to do in the park.
Okay, Mr. Rohan, Mr. Grant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Mr. Grant. Thank you so much for being here. We're just introducing ourselves right now. So you're a member of the community and you're here to talk about RC Park. After that, you'll definitely have time to speak.
Okay, no problem. Take it.
All right. Next, please.
Hello, this is John. My name is John Berg. I'm also a member of the community. Thank you for having us and giving us the opportunity to present our case here in this meeting.
Thank you. I'm just taking notes, guys. So if you're looking away, I'm taking notes.
Hey, my name is John Good. I'm a racer from Long Island. I've been racing with all these guys for 14 plus years, and I'm here to support them.
Next. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
I'm Dave Ramdeen. I started racing with these guys at Gun Hill Road, I would say back in 2014. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Say that again, your last name?
Ramdeen. First name is Dave.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ramdeen.
My name is Corey Williams. I haven't gotten to race, had the opportunity to race at Gun Hill. I've just gotten to run there, but I've been racing with these guys, and I hope that I could participate in Gun Hill Road once it returns to its glory.
No, definitely, Mr. Williams. Thank you for being here. Next.
My name is BxCB12. I'm a member of our community and been attending every meeting. Thank you.
Can you spell the last name?
It's S-U-B as a boy, A-I-R. Sabai. No, it's S-U-B as a boy, A-I-R. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
First name is Benga.
All right. Next.
Before the next thing goes, there's background noise that we're getting. So if you could please mute yourselves, and then, once it's your turn, unmute, because we're having difficulty hearing.
Next.
Hi, my name is Kevin Withers.
John,
I've been part of the RC community for a couple of years and racing with these guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Richards. Next.
Thanks.
Hi, this is Anthony Bartholomew, and RC member. Been racing with these guys at Gun Hill since 2010. I'm originally from Brooklyn.
Thank you, Mr. Bartholomew. Next.
Hi, my name is Alan Placer, racing for 40 years, involved in the hobby industry. I've been with Gun Hill since the beginning.
Thank you, Mr. Placer.
Hi, my name is Omar Aline. I've been racing at Gun Hill since 2013, and I'm currently a resident of the Bronx, 15 minutes away from this park.
Thank you so much for joining us.
My name is Davis Taylor. I've grew up learning how to drive my RC cars over there. I've been there numerous times since 2010.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Next.
John Isaac, second vice chair, Community Board 12.
Good evening, Brother Isaac. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm a little perturbed with, not being able to sign on time. But I'll be all right because I'm elated with all these supporters here. So let's continue. Who else is here?
This is Toba Lakon. I live in the community. Actually, I used to be the chairperson for this committee when I was board.
Okay. What entity were you the chair of? What committee?
This committee, Park and Recreation.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Next. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. This is Talene Dickerson. I am the vice chair for the Education Committee. Just joining you folks. Good night. Good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Dickerson.
Clinton Mike, board member, Committee Board 12.
Who's this?
Clinton Mike.
Clinton, what's going on, Clinton?
What's up?
Anyone else?
Hi, this is Renee Patterson from Seton Falls Park Coalition.
Hi, Renee.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Anybody else?
Matt Doran from the Parks Department.
Oh, Matt. What's going on, Matt?
What's up, Ivan?
Okay. Anybody else? I see O'Dane Spencer. Did they announce themselves?
He didn't
Yeah,
announce
hello?
himself. There he goes.
Yeah. Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry about that. I'm having a little bit of difficulty navigating those apps. My first time using it.
That's okay.
But I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to see all the support that the guys are giving. Again, my name is O'Dane Spencer. I'm active member of the RC community.
Okay.
I live literally 5 minutes from the track, so I would really love to see things get in motion and we get things on the way.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I see Jonathan Blyer. Okay.
Jonathan Pryor, he was on, he stepped away, but he's a member of the RC community from Brooklyn.
All right, I'm trying to get everybody down. So everybody, that should be everybody. So I'll take it from there because I didn't mean to interrupt the chair, Dr. Burke. I just wanted to, it's powers and numbers, and right now we have numbers, and this is what we've been asking for personally. So I'll give you a little overview for the RC community because I haven't had a chance to formally introduce what we've been doing as far as that RC Park. So Ms. Bond and the chair, Dr. Michael Burke, we've been working on trying to do something about not getting rid of the park because of the lack of upkeep. Okay, and it's also difficult for the Parks Department to upkeep it due to budget constraints and so forth. And I'm sure we'll get in more detail with that. I'm a member of this community. I'm born and raised in this community, and I see it as an amenity that it would be detrimental for us to lose because it's such a unique amenity. So before we even got in contact with you, we've been fighting for a good 2 years. So to see all of you here today, I mean, if I could record this meeting and replay it for the rest of the board and the Parks Department or whoever else I need to play it for, I would love to because there's power in numbers, and that's exactly what we need. This is, again, I'm a little perturbed because I wasn't able to sign on time, and I am the chair. But at the end of it, but right now, I'm also elated at the same time and happy just to see all of you guys here and all of my fellow community members showing support. With that being said, I'd like to turn it over to our chair, Dr. Michael Burke. Thank you all for being here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Boris. All I want to do is just show, the pictures that just of the use of the park, and so I will do that. And then again, so Brother Williams, what I'm going to ask you to do is describe these pictures as I go through them. Would you do that for me?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so let me do that, and then that way you can describe what's going on, and then okay, so here we go. So it's on you now, Corey.
All right. I'm gonna wait. Okay, so pretty much this is a driver stand. So I forgot the name of this race, but it was a race of like what was it called? The Tri-State Area Race. It was like the New York City Off-Road Championships.
New York City Championship race.
Right. So the person that you hear speaking, that's Rohan Grant. He's the one that actually designed the layout for this track. He's the owner of Barnstormers Raceway up in Chester, New York. And he designed the layout that these races are racing on. So you go to a race, stand on the driver's stand, and that's where you control your cars.
Let me interject here. That past picture, where is that?
That's Gun Hill Road.
Okay, what year is that taken?
I don't know the exact year.
That was 2010, I think.
And that's the track. That's the layout. Nice and groomed, looking like the barn, baby barn right there.
So I'm gonna just interject real quick because I just want to get down to it. Address the elephant in the room. Elephant in the room is that we want this track to stay.
Yep.
But we have the parks manager right here, Matt Doron, and he, and Matt, you can speak for yourself. I don't want to speak for you, put any words in your mouth. But it's been attested that it has been not upkept in the last several years.
So let me just jump in real quick. We understand your position. You don't have to lobby. I don't think. We understand. I'm not making a decision. I know my agency's not making a decision anytime in the very near future. This overall situation that COVID has brought us has just put us back in lots of different areas. Now, in the evidence that you're presenting, all I'm asking is the year that these photos are taken. We understand it, and we're not going to disagree at all that all this stuff took place at Gun Hill Road. We know that it was a flourishing place within the park where you had a lot of members that were there and they took care of it, and it was a pretty cool place to go. No one is disputing that. Parks Department is not disputing that. And these pictures are awesome. I love them, and we know there was a lot of people there. The situation in 2019 is what was brought to the agency, to the front of the agency on what to do with the property. So what happened in 2010 is great, but it's what wasn't happening in 2019. You see
Can
where?
I interject for a minute?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. No, my name is Rohan Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Grant.
One of the biggest problems that we have is getting permits to put like machinery in there that we could do the work that we need to do to get the track into a good shape. And it's like when we try to get the permit, we always have a roadblock with that. So it's like, if I could promise you that if we get the permit, that we could do what we need to do to get the park back to where it was, because I'm the one that really make it what it was in 2010. I will definitely vouch that I will make sure it is as good as it was in 2010.
Right. And I think
I just want to say, so with that being said, what can Mr. Doran, our parks manager, what can be done so that this way, it can be overseen by this RC community?
I'm not in a position to make any decisions. This is a decision that comes from the Parks Commissioner, multiple commissioners. So, but in advising, I'm in an advisory role to you guys for this property to maintain it and keep it in the way you want to. What we need is an agreement. I don't think it'll be a licensed agreement where it would sort of be a partnership with parks type of agreement. It would something in writing that's going to basically organize your group into how you'll be able to allocate your resources into keeping the park the way that you want it to look like. What I mean by that is how many people you have committed to this project. A schedule. What I mean by schedule is what's the minimum commitment that you guys will be there to help maintain this. 3 times a week. We can expect you there 3 times a week. What are the levels that are acceptable, where the levels that we can both agree on, that we could both state that this is an unacceptable level that this area has gotten to. Right? It's like weeds are 2 feet tall, or something like that. I'm just giving you an example. We would agree that the maintenance hasn't stood up to what we had planned and agreed upon, stuff like that. So it would be discussion and figuring out, how we'll be able to work together. Now we iron all this out. You guys put together a solid plan going forward on how you're going to maintain it, and you'll be able to use the property. Then we could work on getting you the permits. And I would work with other parts of the agency, with my chief and with my commissioner, but I would be an influencer within the agency to either help you guys if you're going to help us, because I'd love to see people using the parks, but I also love to see people maintaining the parks if they say they're going to. So I'm sure we would be able to figure out some type of way to grant the permits so that you guys will be able to do what you need to do.
So what would be our next step?
I think one of the things
put together a plan in writing that really itemizes out how you want to move forward with the organization. First off, how big is the organization? How many people? What's your commitment? All that type of stuff. How you would be able to maintain thing going forward. This is how this property started. It's like 40 years ago. There was a group like yourselves that came together and said, we want this in this area of the park. The Parks Department, this particular area of Fort Knox, it was sort of run down. It was in the corner, wasn't being used. So it was a great opportunity to take the property, give it to a group like you guys, and then they took it and they ran for it. And it was successful. And then what's just happened over time is, it has gotten used less and less and less. And then with any property, succession takes in. And what I mean by succession is the regrowth and the reestablishment of how it is when it's in the wild. You know,
I think
trees.
Well, this is John Burke. I think one of the challenges, and I was there from the very beginning, and one of the challenges that cannot go unaddressed or at least spoken about is the fact that since this is a community-based project where men like myself with families, we came together to see this happen, to make something happen in our community. But the resources outside of the permits and whatever assistance that we could get from the Parks Department, which was at that time none. It was always a challenge to even get a meeting. So the fact that we're sitting at the table at this scale today is very, very much appreciated. But one of the challenges is the financial aspect. So I think the degradation of the park over time, the financial aspect as to the money going in to make these things happen contributed in a major way to the degradation, because everything that was done from the financial resources of the participants, some more so than others. And I think that the challenge and the disappointment of the community and the stagnated growth over time for the park is because we didn't get that support from the Parks Department.
Understood. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the whole community. Again, I grew up here. It's a park in my backyard, and I really didn't want to see it to go. We were literally about a month away from it being disbanded. And with that being said, we tried and advocated for it, and we came to some type of compromise where it could become a BMX track. And I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. I want to know if this is something feasible that you guys can actually still drive your RC cars on for your community. So I'm going to show you that right now.
For safety reasons, I can tell you unequivocally that it absolutely can't be both. Because what's going to happen is a conflict of interest where, we did have those challenges as well, where individuals came and they wanted to ride their bikes on the park. The hobby that we promote requires a license, and it requires everyone to register with a certain body, to protect them for insurance purposes, to indemnify the Parks Department in the event that there is a major injury. So a lot of these challenges we took on ourselves as a community. It was a lot more to it behind the scenes, administratively speaking, that went into it. So if we are managing an area, which I don't think, and I probably speak for maybe some or maybe most of us that are on the phone, that we don't even know what it entails to do a BMX, to do a BMX.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Just give me a chance. Give me a chance, and then you can shoot it down. All right. Okay. So I'm trying to show you right now, just give you an idea of what it looks like. But I'm having a hard time presenting anything. I'm a teacher, so I got to work on Zoom, Google Meets, this one, that. Everything is. I'm all over. Okay. So I'm going to share that right now. What that would look like. Okay. Here we go. Here's the picture. And let me just explain to you why this was I was able to I feel that it was a compromise. So this is low maintenance. Something like this is low maintenance. And I'm hopefully that you guys can still utilize. Also, this is something that was also fairly cheap, so to speak, to do, and it doesn't have to be a capital project. And then it also alleviates probably a lot of responsibility on the RC community. So we were potentially going to get this approved and paid for by Andy King, but I'm sure a lot of you know what's going on with Andy King right now. So that may not be possible at this very moment. But I'm sure we can take, for this year, this fiscal year, we can do whatever it is that we have to do to make sure that this gets done. So now I'm finished. I'm finished with that. I'm finished with this presentation. Short presentation. I don't know if you guys can see the picture. Can you see it?
All right, can I elaborate a little bit more on that?
And absolutely. So now at this time, yes. So now you can go back. You can sleep on it. Go back to the to the artistic community and see. This is just a picture of what the pump track would look like.
Mr. Boris, that picture looks phenomenal, and that idea is amazing. But I just have one question: Why would that take less maintenance than the RC track?
So Parks Manager Doran, he can speak on it, but I will say that you see how it's paved. So that's paved. It also, the dirt, that was one of the issues. The dirt was running off into the river. And that was one of the things that the parks had an issue with, was that the dirt that was, that gets compiled or whatever, it was running off into the river, which causes pollution and things like that. So with something like this, you'll have less runoff into the river. I'm not sure. I'm not an RC. All I know is I want the RC track to be there. I'm not an RC guy. Maybe I'll become one sooner than later. But as far as right now, I'm asking you, the ones that know. So, is this something that can work?
Mr. Boris,
I think what I see is we got together is something we've been doing for so many years, and we not only asked for it, but we put our money where our mouths were as well for so many years, even without the permits, even without the support of the Parks Department. So what I see by presenting a BMX track, I see that as a part of regentrification. That's how I see that, because it's not listening to the community, although the community is here in full force and saying, here's what we would like to do. We don't have anyone here requesting, or we don't have any group or any other group from the community requesting a BMX track. So my concern is that, something is being presented to us in our own community that we're not asking for, something you probably see in the suburban community. But this is our community. This is our opportunity to say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we would like to do. This is how we would like to contribute to our community in a positive way. But yet, through, I think, a sly way of doing things, for lack of a better term, we're being presented with yet something else. That's not a part and hasn't been a part of our community, and I think it just complicates things. I think it does more harm than good, because this RC park has grown to where it's at now organically, and it has grown within the community. So this is saying, hey, we want to put a basketball court here because this is what we do in our community, and this is what the kids enjoy, and this is something that's organically has become a major interest in our community. And then we go to a board meeting and we're presented with a tennis court.
Who is speaking just now?
My name is John Burt.
Next pump track.
Mr. Burke. Again, I apologize if that assaulted you in any type of way, shape.
No, I'm not insulted. I take this as a very constructive meeting, so I don't want you to think that we're insulted by it.
It was a suggestion. Again, I'm a member of the community, right? I'm here for the community right now as we speak, and that's why I'm asking. It was only a suggestion.
The other guys might have a difference in opinion. I just kind of gave my opinion. That's all.
I didn't know, and that's totally fine. That's what we want you here for. I invite it. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it. Yes.
Also, with that being said, I want you guys to sleep on it. I want you guys to think about it. The only I just food for thought. I'm thinking when I run my basketball tournaments and things like that. Everybody talks a good game, and these are just my experiences. These are just mine.
Right.
Everybody talks a good game, but when it's down to do something about it, unfortunately, our fellows are not so fellow at when it's time
Agreed. Agreed.
So again, it was just a suggestion.
As I said before,
The RC.
My name is Rohan. My name is Rohan Grant. And if I tell you that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
I appreciate that.
I just need your help.
Wait, I'm sorry.
when I
Could we
say I
have
need
one
your
person
help-
at a time speak? Like 3 people speaking at the same time. One person at a time speak.
Okay.
Let Alan go.
All right,
Alan Placer.
Okay, Alan go.
Boris, I have a pump track next to my house. I was actually excited for it because I thought I'd be able to run my RC on it, but they're not the same tracks. The jumps aren't spaced the same. They can't run on our tracks. We can't run on theirs. I know it looks like to the outsider that, hey, we can make this track a multi-purpose thing, but it
Right.
just doesn't work, and it would be the death of the RC community in the Bronx.
Okay.
Did that.
Thank you.
From an
Okay,
operational standpoint,
I'll say that again.
from an operational standpoint, from the parks perspective, I've managed pump track down in Concrete Plant Park, and obviously we have one right here. We don't have the one anymore in Concrete Plant Park, but it's one or the other. You can't make something that's designed for the BMX hoping that the RC community is going to adopt it. So I agree with the last speaker.
Okay. Again, it was just a suggestion. That was money. It was a low cost project. So, and it was either that or have it paid. So luckily enough that we're here, post, in COVID, and we have all of you participants. I see you, Dr. Burke. Again, thank you for being here. We needed this. Again, Dr. Burke.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I think my suggestion would be this. I see that Renee is still on there. I hope Renee Patterson's still on here because
Yeah,
if so,
she's next because she's going to speak. I'm sure she's going to speak on what's going on.
so she can give them some insight as to what to do. And I was telling Brother Williams, so what I'm going to challenge you to do, and I know you know about this. We talked about this. Is to challenge your group to come up with a plan. So next month, when Mr. Boris has his parks meeting, for you and your team to have a meeting. Have a plan to present to Mr. Boris, Mrs. Bond, and subsequently Mr. Duran. So I'm going to challenge you, my brother, to get your team together to do that. And like I said, we're going to give you the resources that you need because I think we all want this. As I said, I think Renee Patterson, if Mr. Chair is going to let her speak next, this will be an excellent resource. You probably need to capture her number and go from there. So that's all I got to say. So thanks for letting me speak, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Ms. Patterson, is that you?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Boris.
Could we are we changing the topics? Are we done with the RC track?
Yes, we're done with the RC track right now.
Could I just have one follow-up comment?
Sure, ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, Ms. Patterson.
I just want to make it clear that the Parks Department fiscally cannot provide any support right now. What we can do, whatever's decided, whatever the commissioner decides, however we move, we could support through our willingness to work together with the assets that we have. But we won't be. We don't have. There's zero money in the parks budget for this. So outside of some elbow grease and some people helping out, if there's any monetary purchases that need to be made, that's going to have to be figured out and found by the community board or your members.
Can I chime in, Mr. Chairman?
Can I say one thing?
Dr. Burke had his hand up. I don't see you guys.
And then, like I said, and then you. So I think there are grant monies out there, and I was telling Mr. Williams that, and I think Ismail Guzman used to run that, and that's why when Renee comes up, she can speak to that. But there are monies out there, so even though I know the parks may not be able to put the bill per se. Brother Williams and his community has told me that they're willing to do the work. So I think, like I said, there are monies out there that between Mr. Boris, Mrs. Bond, and myself, that we can help them find and get sponsorships for. So I think that, whether it be New York City or New York State, hopefully we can, make that happen. And forgive me, y'all, I'm watching my Atlanta Braves play, and so saw me jittering. That's what's going on. So my apologies to you for that. So that's all I want. That's all. Get it. So that's all. so that's all I want to say to that end. So, Mrs. Bond, and thank you for letting me speak.
Yes, I just wanted to add one thing. It's important for Mr. Williams, for your group, to the data and the information that the parks that they say that they want to, when we come to the next meeting, to have that prepared for them, so that this way, whatever support that they are willing to lend in terms of you getting the permits you need to do the work that you want to do, that we can move forward rather than just move in a circular fashion and keep talking about it. Let's Mr. Durham be very specific about what it is they need to present to you so that they can have it for the next meeting, and then we can move forward.
Yes.
Absolutely, Ms. Bond. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, just before we move on to Patterson, Mr. Durham, so you could just recap what it is that you're looking for from Mr. Williams' group, please?
Yeah, it's just a detailed plan of how you would use the property, take care of the property, so we could work together moving forward. And when I see detailed, that's what I explained, before. What's the group? How many people are in your group? What's the level of commitment we could expect from you? What's the level of care we could expect from you? What's the schedule of times you'll be on the property working on it? What would be an unacceptable way the property would look if it ever got to look that way, that we both could agree on, right? I mean, if we walk in a park and we see that the grass is 18 inches high, we're both going to say, this is unacceptable, right? Sometimes it does get that way, right? But stuff like that is where we would both agree upon that. I would agree too. Even in my parks that I manage, it's outside of my control. They have gotten to levels of unacceptable ways of presenting themselves to the public, and I'm constantly battling that and trying to get these back to acceptable standards. So, you guys would have to participate in that. And that's all. Just a detailed plan.
I can hear that. I just have some reservation when I hear I would like you guys to participate, and I would part in the Parks Department and partner with the Parks Department. But then you say, but we can't help at the same time. So I'm just not clear as exactly what the Parks Department can do.
Well, what we would do is we'd be granting you permission to use public property. And so it's public property, but we are the stewards of the public property. So it's under the Parks Department, the agency, and the commissioner and the decision making. That's done. So by granting you guys permission, you would have. I'm hesitant to use the words exclusive. It would be semi-exclusive rights to the property, being that it's still public land, but it's designed for a specific purpose, which we are seeing kart racing. Okay, you guys would have to maintain it to a level where that's acceptable within the realm of Parks Department. Now, how could we help? Let me finish this thought. That's stuff that we'll develop, once we get to becoming a partnership, that gets developed along the way. Dr. Burke mentioned that there are grants. Yes, that's going to be, it's either self-funding from you and your members, or working with grants as a partnership with parks to attain these grants. Then you could use the money to take care of the property in ways that's acceptable through these grants. There's a ton of them out there. And Ms. Renee Patterson, she's been successful in getting a lot of these grants. They're specifically written. You have to work as part of our agency to get them. But that's a level that the agency then works with these groups that we sort of given them and again, I'm hesitant to use the word autonomy because it's still public property. You know what I mean by that? Yeah.
Okay.
So just real quick, if I could just ask a question. My name is John. What about help? Like we've always needed a bobcat. If we want to rebuild the track, we need machinery such as a bobcat, which I see sitting, off of the Bronx River Parkway, all the time doing nothing. We need it for a day and a half, 2 days. Would we be able to have access to stuff like that?
It's a great question.
That is a discussion that we would have later on in the process. Like I can't say yes and I can't say no.
Okay, but it's possible that could happen, is what you're saying. It's a possibility.
If everything works towards that, there's going to be a partnership. Let's just say this. I can't let you use Parks property, right? But we have equipment. The agency, we have a lot of heavy equipment like that. So if there's a day where you get all your members out and you guys are going to tackle the re-landscaping and the terrain of it, the agency could possibly work with you by providing you one of our employees with the equipment to assist you in that. So, something like that. You know what I mean?
I understand.
I can't lend you one of our bodies because of liability reasons.
No, I understand without somebody manning it, but that's pretty much what
One other question. You were talking about the grass. Let's say we're gonna maintain the track, right? But the grass in the park, you guys wouldn't maintain the grass in the park.
Well, no, we would extend the track to the surrounding area, so then you would be responsible for, say, an entire section, and we would delineate that. So it wouldn't be just the park, and then we would have the grass right next to it. It would be, here's a big, 100 yards by 100 yards square. That's yours to maintain. You know what I mean?
Because there's also a walkway, like a little walk path that goes through like the waterfront and it goes up towards Gun Hill. That wouldn't be considered all part of the park as well.
We would have a discussion, and then we delineate the areas where you would be responsible for the maintenance. We're not expecting you to be river stewards. We have a Bronx River Alliance that works with us daily, and they take care of shoreline of the river, stuff like that. And
okay, there's also a building there. Are we gonna have access to that building?
Again, a discussion we can have. And the previous group did have access to it. I think we have it locked down right now, but this is all stuff. These are the agreements we've come together to make sure.
Sorry, Matt. Mr. Williams, just make sure you just cover all the grounds and just put this all in this plan. These are great questions.
Yeah, I took some notes, and we're gonna regroup. I just want to make sure that I was clear on the next steps.
Absolutely.
So we're going to put together a plan. Then we would be coming back, and what I understood is the timeline was going to be within the next month. To what meeting would that be? Is that a community board 12 meeting, or is that a Parks Department meeting?
That would be a Parks Committee meeting, a meeting that you're currently in right now. And that will be the second Tuesday of the month. Okay. All right. With that being said, I can't wait to hear illustrious Miss Renee Patterson. Hopefully, I can see your beautiful face. Patterson. Renee. You're okay. You got shy on us.
She's muted. If you're talking, Renee, you're muted.
Can you see me?
No, I can't see you.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. All right, then.
We could hear you.
All right.
I'm sorry. Something happened. I don't know what happened. Okay. this is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I'm just so pumped up to see so many people involved in something in our community. It's just fabulous, fabulous. There are grants. Partnerships for the Parks gives grants for different projects that you can get. It's not a lot of money, but it is some money to start. There's also something called IOB, which does nothing but crowdfunding for the parks, for our parks groups. So right now they have a challenge that for every dollar that you raise, they will match the dollar. So, that's a wonderful way to get money in. Also,
Yeah, we could
the
have to get that.
Bronx River Alliance is right there. You all should partner up with Bronx River Alliance because Bronx River Alliance has a lot of money that comes into the Bronx River Alliance. And they are a very, very good partner, being that you're right there at Gun Hill Road. And that's about it. Those are the tips that I have, but I wish you all the best. This is a wonderful thing.
Thank you, Renee.
You're welcome.
Renee, can I jump in real quick, Mr. Chairman? Is it possible for me to pass along? Can you and Mr. Williams get together in the chat or something like that, so you guys can, they can pick your brain?
If you guys can, you can exchange contact numbers.
Okay.
Mr. Williams, I've reached out to you many times, but I guess we've been playing phone tag and email tag.
Oh, have you seen any of my emails?
Yes, I've replied and I've also reached out to you.
That's odd. All right, well, we're gonna try it again.
Okay.
Okay. So who was that? That was the speaker. Was that a Miss Patterson?
That's Miss Renee Patterson.
Yeah, I'm putting my information in.
Miss Renee Patterson, she's one of our. I mean, she speaks for herself. Her name speaks for herself. She's one of those individuals. She's a model of our community. She gets things done. She oversees her beloved Seton Falls Park, and she's gotten a lot of things accomplished. So she is definitely the person that you want to talk to.
Okay.
Is there anybody else that has any issues or anything that they want to bring up? Questions or concerns? Okay. With that being said, on our agenda was Miss Patterson. You didn't have anything to share besides that?
Oh, yes, I do. Anybody that wants to come by on Saturday, we're going to be planting crocus bulbs and we're going to be painting the benches in Seton Falls Park.
Awesome.
We're going to assemble at Crawford Avenue and Baychester Avenue at 10 a.m.
2 p.m., not 2 a.m.
No, 10 a.m. 10 p.m.
I'm like 2 a.m. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe there was someone who wanted to say something.
Yeah, that's Toby.
Oh yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Like I introduced earlier, I said at a point in time, I was the chairperson for this committee. Under my leadership then, that was the era for Bloomberg and the little bit of money to spread around through the agencies. So it's totally different from now. The one thing that I found out, because when we came on board, we took over this committee from a lady that took it passionately. She worked in parks and recreation like a baby. Miss Foreman, Renee, also grew up under the tutelage of that lady. So it was a big shoe for us to fill, but actually there was a void created when the lady got sick and was in a nursing home. Nobody actually worked on these parks. So the first thing we did was to account for number of playgrounds, number of parks, and some other places that we have here. Then we're able to identify some of their shortfalls. Then we visited other parks in other boroughs just to see what was obtainable in those parks and what we didn't have in Northeast Bronx. So we were able to find out that as much as we needed some materials or some tools to work with here in North Bronx, we found out that other parks, especially talk of Central Park, they have actually been sustaining themselves by the reason of partnership with parks, which I believe Renee just mentioned. And that is why Sitting Falls actually exists up to today, because of the great work of that woman that Renee took over and they ran with it. So I actually joined this meeting tonight to sell the idea to us, and I'm so glad that people are talking about it. So I just want to challenge us. It's not all the time that we want certain individuals in the government to do things for us. Government come and government go. So it's all.
Mr. LaCrown, I think we lost you. We can't hear you, Mr. LaCrown. Mr. LaCrown, you have to yeah, okay.
Sorry, somebody was trying to call me. So the point I wanted to make is I had the other man talked about what they wanted in their park. I really love that language. These parks, even though they are for the government, they are for us that live in the neighborhood. We have to dictate what we want in those parks, because you cannot treat the parks in Manhattan as the one you would treat the one in South Bronx or the way you treat the one in Northeast Bronx. The parks are meant for the use of the people that live in the environment. But the only thing we were not doing here before is how to congregate, how to get ourselves engaged as a force that we need to reckon with. So what you guys are doing is actually laudable. And I want to encourage our group. So we need to get past maybe just a group of people. We also need to get to the point where it becomes a legal entity, so that if you are not for profit organization, it is easier for you to seek for funds, not only from the government, but from so many other organizations that will buy what you are doing. So that is what we don't do very well in this part of the city. So, and I think we need to follow that. So every park that we have here, playground, if we so much love it, my idea is to see how to encourage the people that live in that area to become friends of that park, form partnership with that park. And by so doing, we actually legalize them, form an organization that we can take it beyond seeking for what the government will give us. There's so many not-for-profit organizations that will be ready to donate their fund, their trust into this organization, but they have to make sure that we are serious of doing this job. I'll give you an example. We're talking of this maybe racetrack. The whole of Northeast Bronx, we only have one public swimming pool. You can imagine that. That swimming pool is on the other side, we call it in the valley. It's nothing that stops the city, if at all, to actually have another swimming pool somewhere for the use of the neighborhood. And you can tell that the biggest problem this area is facing is about finding a place for our youth to actually do extramural activities and so many things. It has been there for years. I was on the board. We fought for it. We were close to having what they call mobile swimming pool during summer. That was what they wanted to give us at the time. So these are the pools that you can put somewhere, at least they are big enough to actually accommodate our children. But somehow I left the board and everything just died right there. The point I'm making here is, I look at the number here, I was so impressed, like Renee said. Yeah, this is a committee meeting and we have this number. But we don't need to rest on the number alone. We have to transform this number into working relationship within ourselves before we start pounding on the government. This government will soon go. And once they go, the idea might change, the people might change. But if we form an entity in our own local environment, it doesn't matter which government is here, that group will remain and they will continue to fight for what they want and what they need. So that is what I want to encourage us. That is my own opinion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Doran, do you have anything to report?
Nope.
Okay. All right. With that being said, I just want to really, really thank each and every one of you. This was an amazing meeting. Normally, our committee has always been. I'm comfortable enough to say that we've been probably the most successful amongst other committees. But this right here, and I'm no offense to anybody else, but this right here was amazing to have all of you come out and advocate for Fort Knox Park. And I look forward to seeing. I look forward to seeing this through with you.
Hey, one thing that I could advise Mr. Corey Williams, if when you touch base with Renee Patterson, Renee, if you share with him how to become a Partnership for Parks group, and
Okay, I will. Corey, you have my info, right?
Yes, I do. I got the Seed and Falls Park at Gmail, and then I have the phone number.
Okay, so I'll talk to you about that. It's very easy, and then they have the 501c3, so you can start to ask some of those people up and down Gun Hill Road to give you some money.
What was that called? It was called Partnership for Parks, or Partnership with Parks?
Partnership for Parks. They're the ones that give you the official. They give you an official cover for your group.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. All right then.
All right. Again, thank you, everybody. Also, Miss Bond, thank you. You did an amazing job. Thank you for all in the dinner. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night. Thank you.